SugarCity Morning Show.
Morning show, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. A most pleasant morning to everyone waking up this morning, bright and early on this lovely, beautiful Friday morning. We trust and hope that all is well with you. You continue waking up, and we are ready for this brand new, beautiful morning, this brand new, beautiful day. As we see, oh, what a beautiful morning, what a beautiful day. At this time, folks, we will get communication right now as we get ready to link Delvi this morning. We know the rooster has revived. That's right, the rooster has revived. We need to connect as well. We need to connect through radio as well. So, meantime, we get ready for that. We will be doing this, and we will be calling Delvi right now to get link up right here this morning on the Sugar City Morning Show for today, Friday, folks. You know, the tent has come. The tent was here yesterday. People enjoyed the tent. People party. It wasn't like what we wanted it to be, or we have expected it to be, but it went smooth. We understand that everything was good. We don't hear no kind of violence, so that sounds good. Apart from some deaths when it comes to the COVID-19, that was one person we understand passed away. But once again, we want to wish you all the best, and let's connect with Delvi this morning for that special prayer right here on Norte BC on Channel 10. I have two numbers for Delvi. Let's see which one will be coming in this morning. Folks, this morning we should be having the Ministry of Health right here on the show today. That's right, we will be having the Ministry of Health, and they will be talking to us regarding COVID. But at this time, we got connection with Delvi. Good morning, Delvi.
Good morning, Mr. Checking. Good morning to everyone listening.
Yes, good to hear from you today.
Yes, and I'm glad to hear from you as well. What a blessed and beautiful day that the Lord has given us.
Okay, let's jump into that. Thank you, Mr. Rooster. Thank you, Mr. Rooster, this morning. A lot of my fans and my viewers said they missed the rooster. It looked like the rooster here. They call the rooster. Don't crow already.
You get up early this morning.
Yeah. Yes, it answer me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
Just
get.
share the verse and then I'll go into the prayer.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
All right. This morning's verse is from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 to 11, and it says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone?" Almighty in heaven, Father, Lord, I just give you thanks for this another day. Thank you, oh God, for just the breath and the gift of life. Lord, and this morning I just like to thank you for people. Thank you for the people that you have placed in our homes to be our families. Thank you for people that you have allowed to be our acquaintances or friends, Father. For it is written in your words that alone, Father, we can't. And without you, we certainly can't. So this morning, oh God, I just want to give you thanks for every person that you have set in place, Lord, the frontline workers, those in the hospitals, the BDF, the teachers who are going back, oh God, the students who are working online, the housewife at home, the men on the streets cleaning up, Father. I just give you thanks for every person that you have set on this earth, Lord, for a purpose. I pray a divine blessing in and over their lives. I pray a divine guidance in and through this day for them, Father, and for as long as you progress in and through them. And I pray that you continue to mold us as a people, Lord, that we may be the people who you have called us to be, to bring honor and glory to you. I give you thanks, Lord, for all that you continue to do in and through our lives. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Once again, very uplifting as usual.
Well, to God be the glory.
Yes, well, that's all we can continue hoping for and praying for. So how you doing?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Mr. Checky, thanks God. I'm feeling all right. You know, the family here, everybody, we're feeling all right, thanks God.
Okay.
So I won't complain.
Well, that's nice to know. I know that you all are not much into celebrations, but the 10th of September was observed yesterday. But not only with the
Mm-hmm.
celebrations, because most of the celebration, if not all, went virtual. But
Mm-hmm.
there was some good speeches that was heard yesterday. And it was good because we heard of some of the histories when it comes to the battle of St. George's Key, and that was the commemoration that we were celebrating yesterday. Everybody celebrated in a different way, try to remember all the struggles that Belize
Right.
has went through until now. That time it was British Honduras, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing with the COVID delve, it mess up people because I heard a very disturbing story, um, yet to confirm, but it was on one of the national news. So what I understand from the story is that a young man was standing in front of his yard and
Mm-hmm.
without wearing a mask, and police passed by, and they were about to arrest him, and this person got, I don't know if he got scared and run inside his house, and he take one knife and he stab up himself. And I understand he was taken to the KHMH, and unconfirmed report is that he passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because of the injuries that was inflicted by the stabbing, no?
Oh my God.
So you see why I mention this, Delve, because you could say with the prayers that you do every morning, and other persons, other pastors, other leaders in churches do all their prayers. It's to help the nation get blessed, especially when these kind of things are happening. You know,
Happen. Right.
because sometimes we could look for ourselves and we could feel like, okay, everything is all right. But how can everything be all right with one person when the others around you are not okay?
Not right. Right. That's I just heard that one, and it is very sad. That I not got no words. I'm speechless. It's a very sad case, Mr. Checky. Honestly, I don't know. It's just sad.
You see, like we could look at persons close to us or person far or near, and
Hmm.
things could look so good with them, but we don't know what them people they go through. That's why when you
No,
talk to somebody or you approach somebody or somebody asks you a question, or you just see somebody what you figure this person loan the drink, you figure this
hmm.
person lazy, you figure this person get on drugs. But sometimes people need somebody to talk to. And when you push them away, I'm not saying it's the same situation with what happened with the young man, but the thing is that the people you tell, hey, go for you, I don't want to see you. But maybe sometimes the people that at the time where they have that, they would accept somebody to talk to them and open up their mind.
Yes.
But most
Every
of
person has a story, Mr. Checky.
that true, girl. That true. Everybody have their story, and
Every person.
we can we not there to judge nobody, and we shouldn't, right?
We shouldn't. Right.
So the strong anxiety is out there, and then
It is.
people people are getting scared. Maybe this person just say, man, me not mess with this. I feel bad. I don't have no money. Things tight with me, and they carry me to jail. No, I know that on that. But like you always say, we need Jesus, we need the Lord to be in our life. But unfortunately, what happened, and we have to send out prayers to the family of that person as well. They
Yes.
have to.
I hope they're listening. You know.
Yeah. Well, even if they are not listening, once the prayers are sent out, it will be
Yeah.
delivered to them in some way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I am.
Yes. Well, we just have to keep praying, Mr. Checky. Again, all we in this together as a people, as a nation. We in this together, and while well, for some we can't be with everybody physically, you know, prayers do what we cannot physically do. So we just keep praying for each other, and keep being here for each other as we can all are we in this.
Yes, girl. We all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So how are things
We're
in
all
your
in.
surrounding? Things in your surrounding, your neighborhood, the family and everything. How things stand around that area? Things quiet?
Well, for the moment, yes, Mr. Cheque. Things bleak right now, even the business, things slow and thing, but we still know what we just give God thanks that, health wise, we are all doing and feeling all right, and that we just take it one day at a time. We keep speaking, as a family, we sit down, we talk and we discuss and say, what, if this thing for catch anyone away, we just encourage each other, at another end of the world, and we try drink, we leave medicine, we leave herbs, and we just try to take care of ourselves, and well, the rest are in the good Lord hand.
Yep.
So we are all right. And how about you and your family?
Well, I believe we are okay, we try to make ends meet and whatever issue we have we try to make sure that everything is in place before you move out of the house or before you go to sleep at night, you know. Make sure you don't go sleep that night with one problem because when you wake up that morning the problem is still there and maybe you don't know if you wake up in the morning. So you have to try say and nobody will say, hey, but checking you have problem. It's not problem, sometimes it's just some issues, but everybody have issues, Delvi, because these are the challenges that comes to you, right?
Yes. We don't have to ask for it. We don't have to beg for it. Every person got issues in a some kind of way, and if they say that they don't, well, I'm no judge, but it's not the truth. Everybody got something in it that they do with and they have to deal with for
Yeah.
themselves. But here we are, thanks God. You just keep your head up. You try to be as positive as possible, and when God the fight your battle for you, that battle you will win. You might go through hard stuff. You might feel uncomfortable. Depends on what the problem. But we gotta hope and have faith in a God, and He will see us through.
And the thing is that when these issue comes along, then they come with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you sleep too hard.
All right.
Maybe you sleep too much. You need to wake up because the challenges when they come, you need to tackle the challenges and not ignore it and say, no man, me don't mess with that. Me don't listen to my man or my uncle he can tell me things. No man, he not got nothing to tell me. No man, then I think they call it a purpose because you need to be cleansed. Maybe sometime you not say what they happen, right? But others could see it and maybe they talk to you and you might get irritated and start to reel up and make noise. But these things come with a purpose.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the Bible, it's called pruning.
How?
Like when pruning.
Okay.
The word pruning. Like in the vineyard. And God, in the Bible, God uses a lot of like agriculture with trees and vineyards and stuff like that. And when He prunes, it take out all of the stuff we don't need it. All the extra weed we grow, we don't need that. All the one of the grape tree. So when He prunes us, right, and pruning is painful. I can't feel for your grass, but when you pull out a grass, like somebody they pull off piece of your hand or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So when He prunes us, it is painful, but then for we vineyard one stay clean.
Yeah.
And the cleaner we vineyard, right, the more we can say, healthier grapes in our life, healthier fruits in our life. And when He comes for the harvest, then we not have to pull out the weeds then because He don't pull them out already.
Yeah. So I'm not, before we close, I'm not sure if I'm right what I'm saying that these issues come with a purpose. Come just like that and it's
yes,
for you.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so saying that now, what would be your advice out there to persons that challenges come to? And they might figure, man, me again? Why me? Why not he? Why not she? And me again? What's your advice to these persons that fall in these situations?
I I wouldn't say advice, but I would say encouragement.
Okay.
That in the Bible it says that, we need to consider it pure joy, and this is in the book of James. James chapter 1, we consider it pure joy when we face trials and tribulations, because that is the testing of our faith. And when we allow our faith to be tested, it leads to perseverance. And when we persevere, then we learn to endure, and then we will lack nothing. So if something comes to you, it means that God has chosen you are strong enough to overcome this.
So that's a supreme power.
So do not be. That is the supreme power, Mr. Chucky. Whether we go to church, live in church or not, God created all of us for a purpose, for His will. That only we as human beings, that my life, I do what I want with it. And every person, not care how bembe, have to reach that point when good Lord take a hold away. They might admit it openly, but every person has to reach that point that God created me for He.
Yeah.
See, so be encouraged. If you get one battle, He got everything in there to make you fight it.
Yeah.
And never send you that something where you can't make it.
Yeah, I may think that.
And tell you that you can.
Yeah, true. I may think that word gone already.
Which word is that?
Bembe. It's still there.
It's still there. And I'm not that old, but I don't think I'm that young neither, so it's still there.
We have to end the days of Bembe, girl.
We need to make this better.
Yeah.
Especially now in the time, peace. We need a peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because when we don't have a peace in the mind, we don't lose the battle if you don't have peace of mind. Okay. Your mind control the whole system.
Yeah.
Well, if you tell yourself, I know I'll make it through this, you'll not make it.
Yeah. Well, thanks once again, then, Delv, and a blessed weekend to you all, and continue praying for all of us, because when you pray, you do a general prayer, and it's for everyone.
Yes. Well, and I have a blessed weekend to you all as well, and everyone in studio and everyone listening.
Okay, certainly. Thanks again. And folks, at this time we will check in with the Belize Med service, and right after that we'll go on our first break. We'd like to thank Sister Delv this morning for bringing us that prayer and that little discussion that we do as an opener. Today we want to say good morning to the Ordonez family. I am Benkeviel El Carmen. Also in Sokots, we want to say good morning to Mr. Sokots this morning. All right, so we want to say good morning to you. And for our friend all the way there in Danriga, Miss Cecilia, good morning, muy buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Yeah, we want to say good morning to you also, the Kokom family there in Sokots, and everyone across the country viewing the show. We say good morning to you all. A lovely, beautiful morning, a lovely, beautiful day. We say good morning to Mr. Randolph Brewer this morning. And at this time, folks, we will check in with our friends at the Belize Met Service for today's weather forecast, as we now join the forecaster on duty to bring us today's weather forecast.
Good morning. A slight increase in moisture is expected later today. The 24 forecast is for sunny skies with cloudy spells today and cloudy skies at times tonight. Showers and thunderstorms will be isolated, except for a few more over northern and inland areas this afternoon. Then an increase in showers and thunderstorms is expected over most areas tonight. High temperatures will be about 89 Fahrenheit along the coast, 94 Fahrenheit inland, and 82 Fahrenheit up in the hills. Lows tonight will be around 8 Fahrenheit over the coast, 74 Fahrenheit inland, and 16 Fahrenheit up in the hills. Winds will be from the east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and sea conditions will be slight. A low tide will occur at 15 minutes to midday this morning, and high tide will be at 13 minutes after 6 this evening. The moon will set at 1:25 this afternoon, and the sun will set at 3 minutes to 6 this evening. The outlook is for a few showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly over the south Saturday morning, then north and inland Saturday afternoon, spreading to most areas Saturday night. In the tropical weather outlook, at 3 o'clock this morning, Tropical Storm Paulette was about 810 miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Paulette was moving to the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. Also at 3 o'clock, tropical storm Rene was about 985 miles west-northwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Rene was moving to the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. A tropical wave located a few hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands has a high chance of becoming a tropical depression during the next 48 hours. The following is a special update on the sargassum seaweed situation for residents along coastal areas of the country. Latest observations show a few sargassum mats over the area. These mats will likely drift ashore and produce weather impacts on local beaches in the coming days. That concludes this morning's weather report and forecast from the National Meteorological Service.
Thank you very much, forecaster on duty, for that special report this morning. Folks, we'll be going on our break. We will be discussing this morning and the goals to bring to you this morning to sensitize the public about dengue and dengue prevention during COVID-19. You know, COVID-19 by itself has its challenges, and we will be talking to you about that this morning. We'll be having Mr. Balam with us right here, the Vector Control Supervisor, and also we'll be having Mr. Raf Castillo with us right here on the Sugar City Morning Show. So, folks, we take a break and we'll be back after these messages right here on Nortevisión Channel 10.
Saltar la frontera es ilegal y coloca a toda la nación en riesgo. Nuestros vecinos, Guatemala y México, han experimentado un rápido incremento de casos de contagio de COVID-19 y hay más muertes cada día. Personas entrando a Belice ilegalmente, viniendo de esos países con múltiples casos, no les están haciendo las pruebas de COVID-19. Es por eso que es importante reportar a cualquiera que entre ilegalmente a Belice llamando a nuestras líneas directas. Para Smart, marque 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi, marque 0800-728-3293. Tolerar o participar en entrar ilegalmente es ponerte a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Recuerda, cualquiera que sea arrestado deberá pagar una multa de hasta 5,000 y o prisión por 2 años. Detén el salto de fronteras hoy. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Boy, I'm late again. What? Done ain't there yet? More time for sleep then.
Ugh, where'd I put my license? What? More cash? Yes.
Oh my god, that's a huge slice. More for me.
Morning.
Who doesn't love having more of your favorite things?
Start your morning right.
With Digicel's new prepaid data plans, you get more data to do more of the things you love. That's more chats, more snaps, more surfing, more videos, more everything. So go ahead, live your best life with Digi. Whatever that may be.
From working late to hot date avec Derek. Yes, you can. Looking half decent at early morning Pilates. Yes, you can. When you've totally forgotten your BFF's birthday. Yeah, you can. Looking surprisingly good in last night's clothes. Even unscheduled media appearances. Batiste Dry Shampoo. Yes, you can.
Distributed by Vegas Imports.
When you think about compassion, care and kindness, the area representative of Orange Walk East, Honorable Elodio Aragon Jr., immediately comes to mind. He has demonstrated through dedication and hard work that the people he represents are his priority. His work in Orange Walk East to deliver goods and services has been never-ending. Infrastructure, streets, water, land, social assistance, sports, and education are areas in which Mr. Aragon has focused and delivered to his people in the Orange Walk East. Honorable Aragon has lived a life of dedicated service to his country and people with an excellent track record. Orange Walk East deserves the best. So, for continued development, vote for Honorable Elodio Aragon Jr.
Everybody wants a clean and healthy family. That's why they purchase the best food products and the cleansing materials. This time, we give you a bigger size of La Costeña products like the mouth-watering fried beans and the pasta sauce. And surely for your clean laundry, we have the breathtaking aroma of Ensueño Max Suavitel. Even your visitors will ask what you clean your floors and restrooms with. And you can boast it is the variety of Pinol products and Sultan muriatic acid now in 900 milliliters. And much more for the best prices only at German Vega and Sons Imports. We serve you at number 5 San Antonio Road, Orange Walk Town. You can even call us at 322-3625 or 322-2672. Or you can even send us a fax at 322-2571 or email us at germanvega@btl.net. German Vega and Sons Limited, because we care for you.
Welcome back to the Sugar City Morning Show. Oh, what a beautiful morning, what a beautiful day. It's Friday, folks, and it's the day after the 10th and the day before the 12th. So today is the 11th. Good morning, Emerson.
Muy buenos días, es un gusto, es un placer enorme estar aquí con ustedes. Por supuesto, ya un día más. Ya hoy es viernes, viernes, antesala y fin de semana. Y por supuesto tenemos invitados especiales en el set esta mañana, pero más sin embargo, ¿usted qué tal? ¿Cómo están?
Me, I good, man. I good.
¿Todo bien?
Tal, como cual. But this morning, Emerson, we have Mr. Louis Balam, who is a Vector Control Supervisor for the Northern Regional Hospital, and we want to welcome him to the set. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Osha, Mr. Emerson.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure being here this morning.
Yeah. How you keeping up, man?
Well, we're there.
Okay.
Thanks, God. We have help.
Yeah, so we have this situation with the COVID-19 right now, but we understand that this is the time we should and might be having some outbreaks of dengue.
Yes.
And you're here with us this morning to sensitize the public on the preventative measures during COVID-19. So once again, good morning and welcome. What we stand on the to dengue right now?
Well, Mr. Osha, right now, we are not seeing cases of dengue, thanks God, but it doesn't mean that we want to bring down our guards down as well, right? I just want to appeal to the public now that we have the situation of the COVID right now, right? And while we have the COVID and we are taking all measurements for this virus, we don't want us to stray away from dengue, right? Some months ago, we had a couple of cases of dengue, right? But because of the lockdown and and the movement, it's not like before then. We managed to control this virus, right? But like I mentioned, we don't want to have our guards down either. Right?
Okay, so are we seeing outbreaks right now?
No. We're not seeing any.
That's good news. So, since we have that now, what's the message to the public out there to try to see how we can maintain it that way?
Well, like I said, we are using all measurements for the COVID. Just as the COVID, we want you guys to use all the measurements for dengue as well. Keep your yards clean. Avoid all containers in these times of rain. If you have old buckets, old drums, just get rid of them, right? If you have old tires, because I know a lot of people like to hold on to old tires, and when the rain comes, it just collects water, and then that right there becomes a perfect breeding site for the Aedes aegypti, which is a mosquito that transmits dengue, chikungunya, and Zika.
We are mentioning the name dengue, but what is dengue?
Dengue is a virus transmitted by the female Aedes aegypti, right?
Okay. They have a lot of mosquito. How can somebody identify if that the Aedes aegypti?
Well, the Aedes aegypti is not a big mosquito. It's not the one that most people say, oh, this one has bones and they're very huge. No, the Aedes aegypti is a very small mosquito that you can go close to it and you will see some white spots on the legs, on the back, and on the thorax you will see like a guitar string, right? Like a guitar shape. And that's how you can recognize an Aedes aegypti.
Muchas de las veces, más sin embargo, ahorita que tenemos lo que es la pandemia, estamos lidiando con la pandemia, las medidas de dengue a la pandemia se congenian o es muy diferente las medidas que toman ustedes como prevención también. ¿Cómo se está manejando la situación cuando se trata del COVID-19 y el dengue conjunto?
Bueno, nuestra prevención para esto, estamos dando el health education para la gente, pero no estamos como estando en directo como antes, ¿verdad? Por la misma razón del COVID. Right? Pero siempre tratamos de buscar la manera en cómo la comunidad puede conseguir el mensaje sobre la enfermedad del dengue.
Y más sin embargo, cuando se trata acerca de casos de dengue, por supuesto a nivel nacional o a nivel departamental, a nivel aquí en Orange Walk, ¿se están viendo casos en este momento? ¿No se miran? Sabemos que las lluvias han estado incrementando. ¿Sí han visto casos ahorita?
Hasta ahorita, presentemente, no estamos viendo ningún caso, pero sí estamos pidiendo al público que pueda hacer de su parte, ¿verdad? Porque estamos viendo lluvia, como usted mencionó, y hay bastantes contenedores ahorita que son criaderos del mosquito, ¿verdad? Y si la comunidad ahorita pone su parte, then evitamos tener esa transmisión de este virus.
We're looking at it in this time when we have the COVID-19 upon us. When they talk about symptoms, they say you have flu-like symptoms or you start not breathing too well. And is the symptoms of the dengue similar, or what's the symptoms of the dengue?
Well,
that you don't confuse it with the COVID.
Yes, yeah. When dengue and COVID have almost the same symptoms, right? With a difference of sharpness of breath and the bone aches and the rash, right? Because dengue gives you rash.
And the bone aches as
and
well.
The bone aches.
That's different from the COVID,
headaches.
right?
Yeah, COVID can give you bone aches and fever as well.
So in that case now, how is dengue transmitted? You say if you have COVID and somebody, like we have to use a mask right now, so we are almost safe as can be. But how is dengue transmitted? You talk about the small mosquito. The mosquito have to bite everybody? We're supposed to get the symptoms or catch the dengue?
Yeah, the Aedes aegypti, right? The Aedes aegypti must be infected by someone who has dengue, right? So there's an incubation period from 10 to 13 days whereby the mosquito can transmit the virus if the mosquito bites someone
How much
who is
days?
infected. From around 10 to 13 days.
Okay.
Right? That's an incubation period for the mosquito in order for the female mosquito to transmit the virus. So, for example, we are in this studio and there's a Aedes aegypti mosquito, right? And in let's say, for example, you're infected, the female mosquito bites you, but then it comes and bites me and bite him. We won't get infected because then the virus is not developing the mosquito as yet, right? So that's the time frame whereby after that, then the mosquito can transmit the virus.
But how does it transmit to the mosquito at the first phase that one mosquito bites somebody and that person catches the dengue? How you get in on the mosquito first? Because you said if I have it and it bite me and it bite you and Emerson probably will not catch it because it hasn't been transmitted from me to that mosquito that quick.
The virus hasn't been developed developed in the mosquito as yet.
Okay, so how is it developed in the mosquito from the first case? Because the first case is that a mosquito supposed to have it before it can transmit it to somebody, right? So how does it comes to the mosquito at the first phase before that mosquito go and bite somebody and they catch the virus?
I'm not getting to quite your question, right? But,
Explícalo, Emerson.
So let me break this down for you again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the Aedes aegypti, right? When they hatch, they're not infected, right? There must have a person that needs to have the virus, right? So a healthy mosquito comes and bite the sick person, right? Then the mosquito get sick with the dengue, right? So after that, the mosquito then can transmit to other persons.
So the mosquito become the carrier.
Exactly.
So the mosquito catch the virus from a person.
From us, yes, exactly.
Okay. So how does the human get that?
Exactamente. ¿Cómo el humano logra tener ese?
From the mosquito.
Okay.
Okay. So
un poquito confuso. Yeah. Un poquito confuso. Pero al igual hay medidas de prevención para poder tomar acerca del dengue, ¿verdad? No solamente el dengue, porque es el dengue.
El Zika y el chikungunya. Y tenemos igualmente el malaria. Que es otro.
Las prevenciones las prevenciones que uno debe tomar.
Bueno, usar su fish, ¿verdad? Encender sus fish coil, hacer su spray.
¿Es saludable utilizar fish coil?
Bueno, lo que nosotros recomendamos es que si vas a usar tu fish coil, enciéndelo, pero no estar adentro de la casa, ¿verdad? Okay. Ese fish coil va a trabajar como un fag, haces fag tu casa, eliminas todos los moscos, después que ya se aclaró todo el humo y todo, then se recomienda que uno pueda entrar a la casa.
So when you are doing the spraying as well, you encourage persons to open up their houses when the spraying is going on, right?
Yes, whenever the vehicle is spraying in the street, we always recommend the community to open their doors and windows, right? Because in that way we can eliminate those mosquitoes that are inside your house as well.
Yeah, you spoke earlier about some of the preventative measures for having the mosquitoes in their yard, like you mentioned about tires. How about persons that have their gardens in their yard? People got old vehicle park, people got cans around in their yard, people got some hole where dig right there so and it's not attended to.
Well, Mr. Osha, we in every community we always find that problem, that people tend to hold sentimental value for these stuff.
And they want to let it go.
What we might think is trash
Yep.
is something special for them. No?
Right. Yeah. Well, what we'll be doing, let's take a break because it's time for us to take a break. And we'll be back after these messages as we continue with the Vector Control Supervisor, Mr. Louis Balam, right here on the Sugar City Morning Show. We also have Mr. Rafael Castillo coming in on the final segment. So, folks, we'll take a break and we'll be back with Mr. Balam right here this morning on Norte Visión Channel 10.
6 cylinders to pure potential and better performance.
It looks like it vibrates.
Do you think it could be the horsepower?
With a quart of oil and the calibration of the injectors, it will start to get the watchers again on the street.
We take a motor to its optimal level. We speak machine, Rush France, making the world function. Authorized agent, German Vega and Sons. Telephone number 322-3625. Email germanvega@btl.net.
Worried about wearing that sleeveless dress or sexy bikini due to unsightly ingrown hairs, razor bumps, or burn on your legs, underarms, or bikini lines? With Tend Skin, those worries are a thing of the past. Just apply Tend Skin and you'll be surprised at how quickly it works. So regain the confidence to go short, go sleeveless,
Go Tend Skin.
Visit us online at gotendskin.com.
Distributed by Vegas Imports.
Our economy benefits when goods and mobile services get to their destination quickly. When citizens are able to travel without frustration and undue hurdles, everyone benefits as well. The government of Belize is happy to announce the imminent upgrades to the Carazal-Sartaneja Road. 27 miles of road will be upgraded to paved standards and will include the replacement of 2 ferries with new bridges.
Why is it that we're going to invest in Sartaneja? Why is it that we have to take $50 million to invest in an area where we do not have a political directorate? We believe that as a government, we have to provide a service to all Belizeans.
Well, this for the village of Shunosh is a big advantage both ways. Sometimes when we got sickness, we got people sick at the clinic there, women. When we reach at the ferry, can't pass, 45 minutes have to wait. So now this road will benefit whole village, Shunosh, Sartaneja, and Copperbank. I'm part of Progreso too. Well, it's really important for us.
I know that our village is not so much developed with tourism because it's a remote village. And for that reason, we don't have a lot of tourism over there. But now with this upgrading of the road and the pavement of the road, I believe and I think that it will be much beneficial for us and for everybody.
More for Belizeans, more for Belize, the government of Belize, moving Belize forward.
You have an 8-cylinder powerful engine disguised as an aluminum alloy that spins at 8,000 revolutions per minute.
Goes like this. You think it's a turbo?
No, with a cleaning of injectors and a change of oil, you will run more efficient, my friend.
For those who understand the engine like it talks to you, we speak machine, Rush France, making the world function. Authorized agent, German Vega and Sons. Telephone number 322-3625. Email germanvega@btl.net.
Notice the residents of rural communities in Orange Walk and Corozal districts. If you value your health and your children's health, you will dispose of your garbage only at approved sites. The disposal of garbage at any other location is illegal, and if caught, you can be fined up to $5,000. If you don't get caught, you can still suffer health impacts caused by these illegal sites, because illegal dump sites harbor pests such as rodents, possums, and mosquitoes that carry diseases. These can transmit those diseases to you and your children. In addition, the garbage you throw away illegally can contaminate water bodies near your community, the same water bodies you might use for recreation or other purposes. Only with your help can the Department of Environment ensure that Belize's development is safe for present and future generations. You can also contact your local village councils or Belize Solid Waste Management Authority for more information. The Department of Environment thanks you for your help.
Have you ever noticed the development that's taking place in your town or in your city? Maybe it's because you've been too busy enjoying the results. More for Belizeans, more for Belize, the government of Belize, moving Belize forward.
Welcome back to the Sugar City Morning Show. Emerson, Robert Checker Usher with Mr. Louis Balam, who is the Vector Control Supervisor. Mr. Balam, as we continue with this discussion right here this morning, how can you figure, okay, a mosquito bite me and feel like it itch me a lot, because that happens sometime. That the symptoms as well, or not really?
Yeah, the dengue gives you a rash that itches your whole body, but not any type of rash, that maybe you say the heat rash or give bumps, not any type of rash, and any type of red spot rash, and that's one of the symptoms of a dengue.
I remember one time somebody had symptoms of dengue, and they went to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy told them, we can't treat you for that. We can't give you no medication for that. You have to go and take an analysis to make sure that's what you got, no? So it's not like you could just go to a pharmacy and buy medication. So what's your advice to somebody that has these type of symptoms? What do we do?
My advice to the community, right? If you start present bone ache, fever, rash, headaches, do a dengue test, right? Do not panic and say, "Oh, I have COVID," because we can't because of the COVID right now. You understand? People will forget about dengue. They will think, "Oh, it's COVID." So I always advise, do a dengue test as well, right? Do yourself a dengue test. Because you say, imagine having the two viruses, COVID and dengue at the same time.
That's supposed to be no prevention.
Yes.
But how is what do we do, or where do we go to take a test?
Well, any private lab in town does the dengue test.
But can we see that probably if you would go to a private practitioner, probably they don't want to test you for that because they might figure maybe it's COVID. So if that happens, what should someone do? Can they go to the hospital?
Yes, they can come to the hospital.
Okay.
Hablamos de también, creo que se había visto anterior unos meses atrás, esos zancudos grandes. Esos grandes. ¿Qué peligro eso muestra a la comunidad también?
Esos zancudos no causan ninguna enfermedad, solo son zancudos que fastidian, ¿verdad?
Okay.
En realmente, como le había explicado durante el break, este tipo de mosquito, cuando está en el estado de larva, su stage, se vuelve un predador para el Aedes aegypti. So, eso combate a ese mosco, es como comida para él igual.
Okay. Y al igual también se han visto, bueno, usted nos comentaba de que no hemos visto casos en incremento aquí en nuestro país, especialmente en Orange, pero cuando se trata acerca de, también hay la diferencia de dengue, dos diferentes puntos de dengue, porque hay dengue hemorrágico también.
Igual, sí.
Hay dengue hemorrágico y al igual, en este momento si alguien por ahí siente dolores de cabeza, le duele el cuerpo, fiebre, ¿qué se recomienda? Porque lo primero que uno piensa es la pandemia, COVID. ¿Qué es lo que se recomienda cuando uno siente estos dolores? Y tal vez pueda ser dengue.
Sí, lo que se recomienda es que se haga la prueba de dengue.
Okay.
Para quitarnos de eso, que no pueda ser el dengue. Y si salimos negativos, se hace la prueba del COVID también.
¿A dónde se puede hacer estas pruebas?
El del dengue lo puede hacer en el hospital o lo puede hacer en cualquier clínica privada.
Okay.
You answered this question earlier, how is dengue prevented, but someone sent me a text when we went on the break. I saw my phone and they never really hear the first part, but how is dengue, can you prevent dengue?
Prevention and control for dengue, right? Whenever we have different forms of control and prevention, no? Whenever we have officers visiting your your premises now. We normally have, we usually have the powder called abate, right? This is a growth suppressor for the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, right? That we put in containers that, for example, like people where like people that collects rainwater, right? We cannot get rid of that drum. So what we do, we put these chemicals in this water for the mosquitoes, right? That is one, right? Whenever we go in around spraying your house, when we fog the house with smoke, right? That is another control, right? That eliminates all the mosquitoes that we have inside our house, right? Whenever the truck passes in the street, that's another control. Right, we ask the community, open your doors, open your windows. I know we have a guava smell now that people doesn't like, but it works, right? Use long sleeves, right? Avoid using dark colors because then mosquitoes are attracted to dark colors, right? Screen your windows, screen your doors, right? And if you cannot afford to screen it, just start close the house before dawn, right?
Yeah.
Before the night settles, close your windows and doors.
Okay, and Emerson, for the persons living in the rural communities, you know, they have lot of waterside communities. They have lots of potholes in some of these villages.
Exactamente. Para las personas que también, porque en el área rural de nuestro municipio también, usted sabe que hay muchas personas que son amantes a lo antiguo, la gente
Sí.
guarda sus cosas. Usted explicaba ahorita en el idioma inglés también acerca de esa bolsita como que fueran piedritas,
polvitos, sí.
como polvo. ¿Qué saludable es eso? Al igual, o qué medidas eso atrae cuando ustedes lo entregan o lo meten en contenedores en las residencias.
Bueno, si es para, si el
Contenedor.
agua es para que uno consuma,
Ajá.
de no se le pone, le recomendamos que le ponga un trapo encima y que lo amarre, así no, el mosquito no deposita sus huevos adentro.
Okay.
Right? Eso es lo que estamos recomendando. Ahora, si lo usan para sus siembros o sus plantas, then sí podemos poner el polvito en la agua.
Ok. Y más sin embargo, también las diferentes prevenciones, creo que también lo mencionábamos en inglés, cuando la gente mira que está pasando el pick-up, el camión o lo que sea, fumigando. Muchos tratan de cerrar las ventanas, vayan a cerrar las ventanas porque ahí viene el camión.
Viene también.
¿Qué es la importancia en abrir las ventanas en vez de cerrarlas?
Bueno, la importancia es de esto, lo más importante es porque esta química, ¿no? Realmente es bien bajo, ¿verdad? Y es recomendado por el Ministry of Health, ¿no? Y no afecta en ninguna forma, ¿no?
Okay.
Y elimina a los mosquitos que están adentro de la casa igualmente.
Okay. Al igual,
yeah.
se le recomienda, por supuesto, también a las personas en las diferentes aldeas tomar las prevenciones,
Sí.
tomar las medidas que ustedes también recomiendan, ¿no?
Sí.
Okay.
How serious is dengue versus the COVID-19?
Dengue has a high mortality rate if you don't take the correct measurements. For example, if you're presenting signs and symptoms of dengue and you already had dengue, you can catch dengue hemorrhagic.
Wow.
Right? You can bleed, and if you don't visit the hospital to get your treatment, then you can die.
Wow, it goes so far, man. Now, Mr. Balam, in closing, the role of the community that plays for the prevention of dengue and other vector-borne illnesses, especially in this time of COVID-19?
Well, the community plays a lot, The community plays a lot. What we ask from the community now in this time of the COVID, if you're being quarantined at your home or you're trying to, isolate yourself, take a time, go in your yard, see what you have, old drums, old bucket, and just have a general cleanup in your yard, Like I said, we don't want to bring down our cars from dengue because of the COVID, because we do have cases of dengue and we do have COVID as well. So, like I mentioned, it would be a sad situation if someone catches dengue and COVID at the same time. Right?
Okay. ¿Hay alguna edad en la cual puede uno contagiarse con el dengue?
No, no hay edad. El dengue no mira edad, no mira raza, no mira tu economía, como si eres pobre o rico.
Okay.
Sí.
Al igual. Bueno, son las preguntas que teníamos especialmente para ustedes esta mañana y por supuesto sus últimas palabras en las recomendaciones para darle al público en general, para tomar en cuenta también que tenemos lo que es el dengue, tenemos el Zika, tenemos el chikungunya, todo eso puede salir, pero en este momento está en control, pero más sin embargo las recomendaciones que usted puede darle al público en general.
Sí, la recomendación que yo le puedo dar es patio limpio.
Okay.
Mantener un patio limpio y patio saludable y no solo para tu casa, sino para la comunidad entera. Okay. Porque la comunidad depende en todos, no solo en una familia. Okay. Dependemos en todos.
Pues han sido mis preguntas para esta mañana. Le agradecemos a usted al igual por darnos esta breve educación acerca del dengue y por supuesto esas recomendaciones que debe tomar el público en general. Muchísimas gracias. Vamos a tomar nuestra siguiente pausa en esta mañana y en breves, ya después de la pausa, tendremos por supuesto al señor Rafael Castillo, que va a estar hablando con nosotros acerca de COVID y por supuesto todo lo que está aconteciendo con esta pandemia mortal. Muchísimas gracias, fue un gusto tenerlo en el set.
Thank you once again, and we will take a break, folks. We'll be back after these messages right here on North Television Channel 10.
Batiste Dry Shampoo is the quick and easy way to instantly refresh your hair between washes. Simply spray, massage, and brush. For hair that is refreshed with added body and great texture, so you have time to boss the morning routine. Yes, you can. Batiste Dry Shampoo.
Distributed by Vegas Imports.
Honorable Elodio Aragon remains steadfast in his commitment of delivering on his pledge to the people of Orange Walk East. As a result, Palmar Village is receiving much needed attention. The main street that passes through the village, which has been eroded due to rains and use over time, has been upgraded by your area representative and the government of Belize. Street works will be ongoing in the area. Honorable Elodio Aragon and the government of Belize. Leadership that works.
$114.60 acres in Tiger Creek, Orange Walk, 3,000 acres, 0.961 hectares to Jaime Briseño and John Briseño, 827.848 square yards to John Briseño, 5.4 acres to John Briseño and Jaime Briseño, 20 acres in Progreso to John Briseño, again, 6 acres in Progreso. The all of Progreso Yogawi?
The San Ignacio-Santa Elena Bypass Project is now complete. The transformation began in 2012, and now residents of the Twin Towns and visitors alike are enjoying the end result. Works include the full pavement of Lamalus Boulevard, along with 2 miles of sidewalks and drainage, LED lighting, and a roundabout at the entrance of Santa Elena. The Twin Towns now boast the longest and widest bridge in Belize, immune to flooding from the occasional rise in water levels of the McCall River. A bypass road was also built linking the new bridge to Joseph Andrews Drive, which was rehabilitated, as well as 1 mile of pavement, a median, and 2 miles of sidewalks and drainage. This was all done to the tune of $34.8 million. But that's not all. The project was extended due to savings from the successful execution and implementation of the initial scope of works. Now over 2 miles of additional roadworks will commence, including George Price Avenue, Liberty Avenue, and the George Price Highway between Three Flags and Hawksworth Bridge. The government of Belize, moving Belize forward.
The sunny days are here, and whether it's for a picnic or in your kitchen, you need the meat. Gillette's Meat Shop proudly offers a variety of juicy cuts such as processed meats, ham, bacon, salami, longanisa, and sugar cure ham, just to mention a few. Enjoy our meats in beef, pork, and mutton. So for that healthy cut your family enjoys, visit us at number 18 San Antonio Road in Orange Walk from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 12:30 and 3 to 5 p.m. Sundays, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Place your orders at 322-3486 or 322-2175 or even 610-4061. Send us an email at derekgillett31@gmail.com. Gillette's Meat Shop, fresh and processed meats.
Ay, qué rico. Border jumping is illegal and puts our entire nation at risk. Our neighbors, Guatemala and Mexico, are experiencing rapidly increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases, and there are more deaths every day. Persons entering Belize illegally from these hotspot countries are not being tested for COVID-19. That's why it is important to report anyone entering Belize illegally by calling our hotlines. Smart users call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, call 0800-SAVE-BZE. Condoning or engaging in border jumping is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Remember, anyone caught will be fined up to $5,000 and or imprisoned for 2 years. Stop border jumping now. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
Welcome back to the Sugar City Morning Show, coming to you live, North Television Channel 10, and we want to say good morning to our listeners on Universal Radio 88.5 FM. Folks, we have from Hecopab right there this morning, officer. We have no stranger when it comes to the media and person working in and out of your house, out of your yard, and all over the place. We say good morning to Mr. Rafael Castillo. Good morning, Raf.
Good morning, Mr. Osha. Good morning, Emerson. Good morning to the people tuned in this morning to this very important show.
Yeah.
A very important message we want to get across.
Yeah. So how you doing, Raf?
I'm doing good.
Stay busy?
Stay busy.
Yeah. I must say that the show that you and Mrs. Monema had on Universal Radio was a very, very important, very informative, and yourself and Miss Monema really represented well, man.
Thank you.
Al igual esta mañana le agradecemos igual por venir y también desglosar información y educar al público, porque más que nada es para educar. Mr. Castillo, hemos visto el incremento de casos, no solamente en Belice, pero más sin embargo también en nuestro municipio. ¿Qué pasa, Mr. Castillo? ¿Qué estamos haciendo mal?
Pues lo podemos ver en dos maneras, Mr. Emerson. Los otros de la parte de la epidemiología lo vemos en un aspecto positivo. Lo que pasa en Orange Rock es que estamos buscando a la gente que está enferma. Estamos haciendo lo que se llama el Active Surveillance para buscar personas, porque tenemos los hotlines que vamos a compartir al final del show, ¿no? Que las personas llaman que tienen síntomas y se hace la evaluación de la persona y se determina si la persona necesita que se haga la prueba o no, dependiendo en el nivel de riesgo que la persona tiene. Ahorita estamos haciendo las pruebas en las personas que se consideran contactos primarios. Por ejemplo, si tú sales positivo en tu familia, pues tus hermanos, tus mamás que conviven con usted o cualquier persona que convive con usted se consideran contactos primarios, y después también contactos primarios en el lugar donde usted trabaja. Lo que está pasando ahorita, como le dije, es que en el aspecto de los otros lo vemos positivo. Estamos buscando a las personas que están infectadas, y como le estaba explicando a Mr. Usher, ayer solo salió un caso positivo de los samples de las muestras que se mandaron para analizar. No quiero que por eso que la gente se relaje de las medidas para prevenir esta enfermedad. De la información del Ministerio de Salud, de los epidemiólogos, muestran que el número de reproducción de este virus ahorita está en 2. Significa que cada persona infectada con COVID puede infectar a 2 personas. Para controlar esta enfermedad tenemos que bajar ese número menos de 1 para que esta enfermedad se empiece a disminuir. Pero en el inicio de agosto estábamos en 3. Cada persona podía infectar 3 personas. So, se está bajando, ahora es 2, lo queremos bajar a menos de 1. Y solo se hace buscando a las personas, haciendo la prueba, asegurando que estén aislando para que no puedan infectar a otras personas. Hoy en la mañana van a ir 3 equipos, casi en la mayoría del distrito, para hacer la prueba a las personas. Y esto se está haciendo ya desde que se empezó a ver que hay bastantes casos, y aumentaron los casos porque estamos buscando a estas personas. Si no más un vecino llama y dice, ¿sabes qué? Creo que mi vecina tiene síntomas o mi vecino tiene síntomas, ahí estamos llamando a esa persona para ver qué es la situación.
Cuando se trata de el doctor Manzanero había mencionado de que antes se hacía pruebas, o sea, dos negativos significaba que una persona ya estaba libre de esta epidemia, de esta pandemia. Ahora solamente se hace una prueba.
Se hace, por ejemplo, si yo me hago la prueba y yo salgo negativo, se pide que siempre se monitoree 24 horas, porque si yo fui a hacer la prueba hoy, yo me podría exponer después que me hice la prueba. Eso no significa que, ya hice mi prueba, regresé a mi casa, tal vez tuve contacto con alguien que lo tiene, no usé mi protección y ahora estoy infectado. Hay casos así, que la persona sale negativo y después 1 semana, 2 semanas después llama, tengo síntomas, porque se expuso después de la prueba. Siempre, aunque está negativo, se pide que se monitoree. Ahora, si una persona está positivo, sí, se hace la primera prueba después. Si sale negativo, siempre esperamos, dependiendo, eso se determina en equipo. Por ejemplo, si usted salió negativo, pero en su casa también su mamá sigue positivo, Hay situaciones así donde a usted se le va a hacer otra prueba para confirmar, pero depende de la situación. Pero sí, si no tienes más personas alrededor de tú y sales negativo después que sales positivo, pues sí estás en el libre.
So you're seeing there, Raf, if someone has the symptoms and they go and they are tested negative, probably that person can be negative, but someone close to that person might be positive, but they don't have no symptoms. Then when they go back again and say, oh, ministry said that I was tested negative, and when I look, I have it. How accurate are these tests?
These tests are very accurate. The samples that are taken are nasopharyngeal samples, which give you the highest number of viral collection. The test that is conducted on the sample is a PCR test, which is, there's no other test out there that gives you a better result when it comes to viral differentiation. So like what I mentioned to Mr. Emerson, that I can take the test today, might not have any symptoms, but I test negative, but maybe on my way home or maybe the following day while I'm waiting for my results, I'm not quarantining, because you should be quarantining if you have been tested.
Oh,
you should not be going around or being at home, not having your protective masks, things like that. You get exposed, your test, they might call you, right? In 4 or 5 days tell you, you know what, your test come back negative. But since the incubation period for this virus can be anywhere between 1 and 14 days, maybe 3 days, 4 days later, you start displaying symptoms.
So that doesn't mean if you take one test, okay, you don't take your test. You should be wrong and around the place. You have to isolate yourself because you don't get your result as yet.
You have not gotten your results. And if you were negative and you are not quarantining, you could have been exposed after. And then they will have to re-swab you if you develop symptoms.
Right, because what happens is now if you get your test and you don't get the result right away, you say, but I feel good, man, I don't think I have anything, but then you are around people and going around, and when you look 5 days after your result came in and it says you are positive.
Yes.
Let's get this call right here, Raf. Hello, good morning, Nortevision.
Morning. Very good informative show this morning, but we have stigma yet in our little country. A person went to do some shopping at a local little shop the other day, and the owner came out of the shop and told the person, "You are not permitted to come in here." I mean, that's discrimination. Why? Because the person that was going to do the shopping, the institution where the person worked, they had, I think, 2 or 3 cases. But this person is a negative person. I mean, he doesn't have anything, and he's a very educated person. I don't think she would go and go to a store or a shop if he knew it was positive. So we need to educate our people, educate ourselves. It's true you need to keep a distancing. And this person that went to do the shopping had a mask, right? It was, and they had an N95 mask, not a little piece of cloth. It was an N95 mask. The person told me she had on. And this person came out and told, no, you can't come in here. You can't come shop here because you have positive case at your institution. I mean, this is discrimination, right? I would suggest this person to have this store or this shop to close them. Because a person that goes in with an N95 mask is well protected. I said it before, the mask, the cloth mask, they only protect about 25%. Surgical mask, like what Mr. Osha and the other guy has, is probably about 50%. And I think, Mr. Castillo, you have an N95. That's almost 98% protective to anybody, to yourself and to anybody around. So this discrimination and this stigma that we have, we need to educate our people more and more. It's a very good show we are doing up there, but we need to educate our people more. And these ignorant people that have stores or little shops that do not permit people to go in there, they need to close down their shop. Thank you very much.
Efectivamente. Yes, Carl, that is something, and I thank the caller for bringing that up. We've had situations when the first outbreak started in March. We had the hospital had to adjust. Imagine we had to use transportation from the hospital to take the nurses home. Why? Because the buses were not stopping for them. The buses were not picking them up. The other day a nurse told me they did a transfer to Belize City, came back, stopped at a gas station to refuel, and she was going to go in to buy water for herself and the driver. And the person at the store closed the door.
Wow.
And asked her, what she wanted. And that's how, this type of stigma and discrimination only serves to augment the number of infected persons out there, right? Because if people are discriminating against me because I might have COVID, then I might be reluctant to go to my health facility or to even tell anyone that I have symptoms. So people tend to hide it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's sad because this person had an N95 mask. The person was following the guidelines set by law for you to be in public. Right? So the ignorance and the stigmatization done by that shop owner is unfortunate. It's very sad. But he is calling it out. The caller called it out. More people need to call it out. I mean, if these things are going to happen and we don't address it, then it's going to continue.
Raf, very importantly, when the caller touched about the mask, the N95 and the surgical mask, what happened is most of us, we go buy one mask at the shop and say, okay, I'm following the rules because I have a mask. He also mentioned about the cloth mask. You need to have an extra cloth. But how can you identify yourself and know if there were N95 masks and if those masks we can find them at retail stores to buy?
Yes, the N95s is only recommended for clinic, for example, clinical management of positive patients by doctors, by nurses, because they are very expensive. In these times of COVID-19, you do not want to put that extra financial burden on people. For example, the KN95 one that I am wearing right now is about $4.50 for one. So this one is washable, and the filter can be changed.
Okay.
And so there are all kinds of masks are coming out there. But what I want the public to understand that the mask is not the only preventive measure. It's true your surgical mask might be about 50%, but 50 and 50 makes 100. Both of you have it on. And you're maintaining a distance, so therefore you're approaching almost 100% protection. Cloth masks are recommended as well, but you still have to maintain your social distancing, which is important. All the guidelines that have been given go together. You can't just choose one and say, oh, I'm only gonna wear my mask. I'm not gonna practice my social distancing, right? Or wash my hands. Because I've been to some stores where the store owners have on gloves. They touch the money, they touch the pen. Gloves are not recommended because they give you a false sense of security, and they act as second hand. So you're still touching stuff.
Different kind of, yeah.
And you're not really doing anything to prevent the spread of the disease by using gloves.
With this COVID-19 right now, Raf, and the dengue, do you know if any research has been done? If you have both of these symptoms, if you catch two of these diseases, is there any way that someone can come back from that?
Well, from the literature that I was reading, there have only been two in the Americas known cases that have been studied where people have had been infected with COVID-19 and then infected with dengue. But like I was mentioning earlier, this is a new situation in terms of infection. Therefore, I couldn't find any straightforward guidelines what per se for the clinical management of somebody having COVID and dengue. So the message we're trying to stay here is because you're at home quarantining or you're at home isolating. You should be isolating, you should be in your room, you shouldn't come out. But if you have family members at home that are not ill, then to take about 5 minutes, like what Mr. Balan mentioned, take about 5 minutes, make sure that there are no standing containers in your yard that hold water, no plants like orchids and so on that can hold water. Because we are still in the middle of the rainy season. And what we don't want is to have COVID-19 and dengue outbreak at the same time. Both are viruses. There's no cure for viral diseases. We can only treat the symptoms. Right?
Yeah.
What we're asking people is that if you start presenting symptoms, to call the hotline immediately. Don't wait 5-6 days until whatever medication you were taking at home or something is not working. Then you call and say, you know what, I was taking herbal tea, but it's not working. I feel worse. 5-6 days in terms of COVID, you might have infected other persons if you had it. If it turns out that you test positive. Dengue, like Mr. Balan mentioned, if it is dengue and the mosquito bites you, the mosquito is inside the house, it's a domestic mosquito. You don't call us immediately after symptoms for you to do the test, then we cannot go in quickly to help eliminate the mosquito from within your home.
Okay, to what the caller said about some of these masks that are not, might not be giving you the high percentage of protection, but in this case, when it comes to this, how you know we know the spread, but who is considered at risk for COVID-19?
At this moment, everyone is considered at risk. With the, like I mentioned, the reproduction number for this virus stands at 2, which is in epidemiological terms means high transmission. Means that it can spread rapidly within a community. We have 2 communities in Orange Rock that already have over 100 cases, that's San Felipe and Orange Rock Town. And that's where the teams are focusing most of their work in those areas and trying to contain the transmission. But people who are diabetic, people who are overweight, people who have other medical conditions such as cancer, compromised immune system, especially like, for example, diseases like HIV, are considered at a higher risk of contracting COVID-19 and developing complications that can ultimately lead to death.
Nadie es inmune a este virus, nadie es inmune a este virus. Estamos expuestos en cualquier momento a contagiarnos. Pero, Mr. Castillo, la pregunta que yo tengo para usted esta mañana, sabemos que muchos de los casos que se están que están saliendo, muchas de las personas son asintomáticas, no desarrollan el virus a un nivel en la cual podamos decir que ya están en las últimas. Pero más sin embargo, si ha visto casos en la cual o se examina, se le hace la prueba, alguna persona de tal manera en la cual no presenta ningún síntoma, pero en su familia tiene una persona contagiada, pero esta persona no presenta nada. ¿Ha salido de que salen positivos?
Hay el protocolo que se ha establecido. Por ejemplo, si tú sales positivo en tu familia, se va a asumir que todos que conviven con usted en su casa son positivos porque tuvieron contacto con usted. Quizás algún momento no tenían su máscara, no guardaron distancia, porque hablamos de asintomáticos, hablamos de sintomáticos, pero no hablamos de presintomáticos. Una persona puede ser asintomático, pero no quiere decir que tiene la infección y por todo el tiempo va a estar asintomático. Puede desarrollar síntomas después. Por eso se piden que cuando se haga el contact tracing, y para determinar quién todos tuvieron contacto con el caso positivo, que esas personas que estén en cuarentena también. Porque si se hace la prueba, dependiendo de qué riesgo está, un familiar se le va a hacer la prueba si estuvo en contacto con la persona positiva más de 15 minutos sin usar protección. Eso se considera alto riesgo, esa persona se va a hacer la prueba. Si sale negativo, no quiere decir que no va a desarrollar síntomas, porque estuvo en contacto con la persona positiva sin protección. Se puede decir que está en la fase a donde no está mostrando síntomas. Pero ha habido casos a donde, situaciones así, a donde la persona desarrolla síntomas después. Es un ejemplo perfecto, es los casos en la comunidad de San Felipe, que es como no es transmisión comunitaria, es un clúster grande, porque los clústeres pueden ser 5 o 10 personas, pero clústeres pueden hacer, porque todos vienen del mismo lugar, todos vienen son de Caribbean Chicken, de los casos que salieron ahí. Son personas que trabajan juntos, están en contacto juntos, lo llevaron a su casa, infectaron a las familias. Así se desarrolló esa enfermedad en esa comunidad.
Solamente por seguridad alguna, yo siento que como el VIH, uno por tal manera va y se puede hacer la prueba. Se puede hacer lo mismo con COVID-19. No, valga la redundancia, no tengo contacto o tuve contacto, pero no es eso, solo en mí quiero hacerme la prueba. ¿Puedo visitar
Se puede llamar, pero como le digo, si no se considera alto riesgo, no se va a recomendar hacer la prueba. Los recursos, estamos trabajando, como explicó mismo Nemá ese día, que los recursos que tenemos ahorita son
limitados.
Son limitados, pero se tienen que también cuidar. Tenemos 496 casos positivos que han salido en New York, al momento 401 activos, pero se ha hecho más de 1.500 pruebas. Más de 1.000 pruebas que han salido negativo, que pruebas que se podrían usar con alguien que tiene síntomas o alguien que está en alto riesgo, porque en el principio así era, la persona pedía que quería hacer la prueba, salía negativo, pero después decimos, ¿sabes qué? Como ya se interrumpió todo a nivel mundial, sabemos lo que pasó con no había movimientos de productos, y así era muy difícil. Unos países que producían las pruebas ya no lo estaban exportando porque lo estaban guardando para su propia gente. Se volvió bien difícil en conseguir esas máscaras, pero eso todo se está arreglando, pero siempre tenemos que cuidar los recursos que tenemos, asegurando que los frontline workers, como los doctores, las enfermeras, tengan acceso a esos productos. Una de las preocupaciones que teníamos en el inicio cuando se empezaron a vender las máscaras en las tiendas, así, que iba a haber un shortage para los otros ahí, pero gracias que hubo donaciones de países, hubo compras que el gobierno logró procurar, y ahorita tenemos suficiente para los frontline workers, pero siempre los tenemos que seguir las guías, Emerson, no solo porque ahora, como el DHS, Dr. Manzanero dijo, hay que tratar a toda persona como un posible COVID.
Exactamente.
Cualquiera persona que usted encuentre.
Así es, exactamente.
We have a question here, Raf, but I will pose this question and ask you for your answer when we come back, because we'll be taking a break. Good morning, Patton. Is it true that blood type O is immune to COVID? We will answer that when we come back. Right here, we are in tune. This is Nortevision Channel 10 and Universal Radio 88.5. We have a discussion with Mr. Rafael Castillo, and we'll be back after these messages right here on Nortevision Channel 10.
Pausa y volvemos.
World-class spaces for Belizean athletes to thrive and fans to enjoy. Our new basketball and multi-purpose arenas have proven their worth, attracting regional and international sporting events and hosting expos, conferences, and proud graduates. Your government moving Belize forward.
Since 2014, Honorable Elodio Aragon has been quietly and consistently assisting deserving residents of Orange Walk East through a pantry program that he put together using personal resources and also with the support of generous business persons. It started with the distribution of 100 packages per month and has now doubled to 200 packages per month. The packages comprise of rice, beans, flour, and sugar, which are staples in any household and a great help to the recipients. During the state of emergency in the month of April, Honorable Aragon also prepared and delivered 3,000 food hampers to residents of Orange Walk East. In the first instance, 1,500 parcels were delivered, followed by 1,500 more 2 weeks later. This was done because Mr. Aragon was aware of the hardships some of the area residents were going through due to the COVID curfew. This is a man who cares. Honorable Elodio Aragon Jr., with you always.
Someone come, yes, someone coming, let's go. Sa. Fastest question of the day, what you did it here?
Who's a me later?
That sign right there, you can't read?
Well, make I tell you something. In this community, everybody dump here, so me just dump my garbage right here.
So if somebody jump off a bridge, you that do it too?
Oh man, no.
You never know that littering is an environmental crime and Department of the Environment can charge you for that?
Why is that a crime?
Because you pollute the same environment you live in, dirtying the same land and water you use. You don't even know that you dumping garbage can make you and your family sick by attracting disease-carrying pests, and the Department of the Environment just to try help we take care of the we environment.
So all of that? Well, now that you put it that way.
Thanks for your 5 cents, brother. That's 5 cents question of the day.
This message is brought to you by the Department of the Environment.
John Briseño says government needs to trim the fat. Let's take a minute to look at that fat.
Johnny Briseño receives a salary of $60,000 from the government to be the leader of the opposition and $84,000 for sports and community projects in his constituency. The People's United Party representatives receive about $993,000 annually from government to assist residents of their constituencies.
Since the COVID-19 state of emergency, the Prime Minister of Belize has given all his salary toward the relief efforts. The UDP ministers has given up a month's salary and allowances going forward. Johnny Briseño has not agreed to give up anything. The PUP representatives have not agreed to give up anything.
Leadership is about action, not words.
The ongoing technological evolution constantly transforms the way we live our lives. The introduction of our national fiber network creates the opportunity for Belizeans to live the digital lifestyle. Today, Digi is proud to introduce Dana, Belize's first artificially intelligent automated assistant. Dana is the modern customer service experience. Available 24/7, Dana can provide Digi prepaid and postpaid customers with directory information, credit and plan balances, product and promo information, and more. Just talk to Dana. Want to check your credit balance? Ask Dana.
Hey Dana, what's my credit balance?
New Digi promotions? Ask Dana.
Hey Dana, any new Digi promotions?
Dial 113 for directory assistance and dial 119 to talk to Dana. Digi remains committed to introducing the latest in cutting-edge technologies, transforming Belize one technology at a time. Try Dana today.
Thank you for calling Digi customer service.
Welcome back to the Sugar City Morning Show. It's 15 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Raf, before we went on the break, Mr. Patton says, is it true that the blood type O is immune to the COVID?
Currently, because it's a new virus, there's a lot of research being done all over the world on the virus as part of the process of creating a vaccine or creating a way of fighting the disease. I had read that before, but it was just in research. They were just doing correlations that people with that specific blood type are not immune to the disease. Their symptoms are just milder. But that is just based on research that was done by one institution. For research to be validated as fact, it has to be done by many different institutions to get the same result. What they have noticed is that the symptoms, the infection rate, everything varies by country. Right, the scenario is totally different, and that needs to be factored in. But for now, there's a lot of research. You can access a lot of research information on the internet. But if it is not validated by the World Health Organization and it does not come up as something that they have put out, then we cannot go by that. Okay. No one is immune to COVID-19.
Importance of quarantine if exposed and isolated if positive.
Yes, it's very important that if you have been exposed, for example, maybe somebody at work tested positive, it's very important that you quarantine if you have had contact with that person, especially if you did not use your mask or you did not practice the prevention guidelines, social distancing, physical distancing, not social distancing. Physical distancing, wearing your face mask, having contact with that person for more than 15 minutes in an enclosed area, especially like how some offices are. Then you should quarantine, and if you do develop symptoms, you need to contact the Ministry of Health. Quarantine and isolation are very important in containing the spread of any communicable illness, not only COVID-19, but this is how it's contained.
Hello, good morning, Sugar City Morning Show.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm just tuning into the show. I hope I don't ask some question I don't ask, but this question of the health man, no?
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Ruff, good morning, Mr. Ruff.
Good morning.
What would you say is the cause of this sudden outbreak in Orange Walk district? I mean, Orange Walk district, they behave like they have a race and they're not prize on the river who get the most virus patients or something. what did you see is a certain outbreak for this? I mean, I have my own opinion, but I don't want to hear you as an expert. What did you see the cause of this? Is it carelessness or how are the people or people are taking it serious? So let me hear from you, sir.
Okay, we have not discussed it internally in the core team of what we think that one of the things, yes, that contributed to the high number of people who are infected is people not practicing the guidelines and the recommendations for prevention. I was speaking to someone the other day who's actually from Belize City and came to Orange Rock for a day, and then he made a comment to me saying, you know what, I understand now why you don't get a lot of infection. I tell him, what do you mean? He said there was an accident the other day in front of people's store. I think the old man was run over.
Wow.
He said everybody started coming out of the store, started coming out of the bank, the places around, and then pile up around the scene of the accident.
Everybody wants to see.
Taking pictures, no social distancing. Some people had on their mask, some people not had on their mask because they talked to somebody. It just became a whole, like everybody gathered. He said about 20, 30 people gathered right there to say what happened. He said things like that, what caused people to become exposed. I think it has to do with initially having that false sense of security because you're wearing a mask. And that's why we did a lot of health education, telling people that the mask is not the only prevention guideline. If you are wearing a mask and you're not practicing the physical distancing, you are coming in contact with somebody who might have symptoms or who might have been exposed for more than 15 minutes in an enclosed area, maybe the office, without using our mask, then you're increasing your risk of exposure to COVID-19. I think it came down to people not adhering to the guidelines. I think the many amendments that were made to the quarantine orders and so on reflected, like what the Prime Minister said, the change in behavior of the people. So it comes to a point now where I think the message at the last conference was, all right, it seems that you do not want to follow the guidelines. So everything was lifted.
Can you walk us through, Raf? Let's say, okay, from waking up in the morning, you wake up in the morning, you do your daily chores you need to do in the morning, you go to work, let's put Channel 10 as a scenario. Come to work, what you do when you come to work, when you go out, and then you go back home, and you settle, you eat, and after that, and you get ready to go to bed. Walk us through steps that you believe and we should follow.
Okay. Waking up in the morning, the recommendations are at home are different than the ones in the public. For example, waking up in the morning, going through your normal routine, and then heading off to work. From when you leave your home on your way to work, your risk has gone up.
Okay.
I've seen some people stop, talk to people, bring down their mask, and then talk to the person. I've had person tell me, you know what, I can't hear you, please take off your mask, but I don't take it off, I just try to speak louder.
Right.
Heading to work, some people get comfortable in their office. What we do before we go into our building is that we spray our hands, we spray our foot bottom with the alcohol before we go into the office, and we wear our masks all day. It's a requirement in the hospital setting, especially because we have the respiratory clinic there, and the risk of exposure is even higher.
Exactly.
We'll get back to that. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Ruff?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller, you're live.
Yeah, this is not really a question, this is just a share opinion in line with what I say, and I'm concerned where Orange York is concerned, no? I think that you're correct because people let their guard down. You know, I believe that people know they take this thing so serious. I can't say damn, I say we because our cities, our community, and whenever something happens to one person because this community is so small, we feel it. So I say, probably, you know, one of my can't say we don't know the health department, but I think when we start to drop like flies, then people are take this thing serious or in job. I think that when you start to make a line at the cemetery, like when I was in Ecuador, people make lines to bury their dead overnight like they deliver cane. Then you know how serious this thing. There's nothing good to say about Corona. Corona has no description for nobody, cover everybody. And I believe that to say that the good thing is that when I catch it, I believe that once it is asymptomatic, then a good thing is still not a good thing. I don't catch it none at all. But so far, we are still blessed, you know, and I believe that we need the health department to do a good job in terms of trying to educate the people, but the part about giving up on the people, the health department can't give up on the people. I think they need to take on different approach in educating the people. Listen to me, I know some certain people who have the virus, and I call them and I check on them and say, yesterday I called a guy who I knew have the virus. He still not test positive negative yet to the wait for the last result, but he was hospitalized. And when you talk to them people, brother, you touch cold seed, man. You touch cold seed to make this person tell you, why it belongs. I'm nearly gone, man, I'm nearly gone. And this is how we have to start. We have to start making people who go through this illness or who survive this illness tell a story, man. You're not confined out because it's them to tell a story. They make others say what they want, because one of the things is that I believe when you affect Orange York, they already change the system. You could correct me if I'm wrong. That if 8 person live in our house and 1 person is tested positive, they consider all 8 are positive. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, now the problem comes in when time they take the test and people are told, stay home, quarantine yourself. They can't put a police front of your house to make sure you don't come out. But one people might come out because they defy the law. 2, people might come out because they need to buy food, they need to pay bills. The fact is that they know they stay home and they spread the disease. And when they are 5 days from now, they get a result, they're positive, they don't contaminate so much people. In the case of some businesses right there in Orange York, we heard about, we can't prove it, but we heard about businesses where they test the workers and they still have the workers in the corner work. When they find out, bam, 5, 6, 7 of the businesses have positive, you don't relate how much people they don't spread it too. And I think that they just have to take a more realistic approach when it comes to educating the people of how serious this thing is. You know, I don't know. What's your take on that? Thank you.
All right, Raf, you can respond to the call. I don't know. We'll go back with the
Yes, that's very good points that he brought up. The adjustments we have made at the hospital is establishing the case management system. We have case managers. For example, I got my case management list today, so I will be calling those people on my list to follow up and see how they're doing.
Exactly. Hello, good morning, SugarCity MorningShow.
Good morning. Can I make a quick question?
Sure. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, morning. Mr. Castillo,
morning.
Maybe you can shed some light on this, no? From an epidemiological perspective, we see that when you look at the active cases in some of the communities.
Just check the connection on your phone, caller, please.
All right, thank you. I was just asking, from an epidemiological perspective, when you look at the cases around the country, the active cases, for example, you look at Corazon and you see that it has 116 active cases and 110 positive cases. Sorry, it had 110 positive cases, but it now has 116 active cases. How
how do you explain that since people have been contracting the virus since April thereabout? How is it that we still have 116 active cases?
That's your question, caller?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ralph.
Okay, I would have to look at the data for Corozal because we're not familiar with the data from the other regions. But I can tell you here in Orange Walk that we do our best to update our data. In fact, we have a daily data board in our command center that we update, and the information is sent, analyzed and sent to the ministry for posting. Maybe from an epidemiological point of view, maybe in Corozal the reproduction number is not as high as it is in Orange Walk. Like I said, in some instances, the reproduction rate was as high as 3, but now it's down to 2. We want to get to 1 or below. Maybe they're not having the type of transmission that they're having here in Orange Walk. But we have people who, for example, we had one case that I'm familiar with because I was case manager for that case. The person was almost a month positive, and every time we did the test, continued positive. So it varies by person, how fast they recover, how long the infection lasts. It varies by person, and that's what makes the development of a vaccine and even testing much more complicated when it comes to COVID-19. But we need to still make sure that whether you are positive or you're negative, you need to adhere to the prevention guidelines. And maybe the message, maybe the way we transmit the message needs to change. In fact, we're already planning on going into the communities to do the public service announcements. We have not reached the stage where it was proposed to do the home visits to check on people who could possibly have symptoms and so on. Only by thoroughly mapping a community, then you would find all the cases. The thing is that some communities are very large. Whether you talk about Guinea Grass, San Jose, San Pablo, these are large areas. Orange Walk Town, Trial Farm, these are very large areas. So we depend a lot on the community to provide information to us. So it's a partnership. We can't work on isolation.
Tengo dos preguntas, pero vamos.
Hola, buenos días.
Morning, Chicky.
Morning, sir.
I think one of the things where people are to take this thing serious that we hold the laws to condone. Maybe they have to deliberate somebody say that they have to add on it inside that if you put anybody in a harm's way or charge you with attempted murder. Because remember they didn't have a thing for the news where 20 people were there and host the party and then 5 or 4 persons they had the virus and they know they had the virus, right?
Yes.
And the next thing, the other day when I saw the border jumpers thing, get people to jump the border and they quarantine them for 14 days in a place like a hotel, civic center. Then when they come out from there, they go to court, they plead not guilty, and they pay $1,000. I think they should make their offense not bailable. Build one big building in a Hattiville yard. And then go with quarantine. Because you can't do this thing. You can't face police,
Yep.
You can't face coffee or police all the way down. The minute we saw them go there, they say, what the get? I say, what the you can't face police, then you have to bring it down hard. And because whether this thing is serious, we can't let that be led by foreign news. America, how all these simple Americans that they go crazy and they talk about inflict on rights. We don't want to wear masks. I know that they promote that thing on Facebook whereby they want to burn masks on the 16th of September. They people are killing their own self. We don't want to go down the road. You know?
Yes.
I just think that different measures to be taken, especially the origin, and I call for the origin tenants, I mean, origin tenants are people that stand together, we need to come as a people and fight this battle, and I think it's going to have to go the way, stay home, I don't know the whole thing, just some people have to work with them, but we have to take this thing seriously, because Corona up there, nobody Corona, they come up there, that's all.
Yeah, Ralph, let me just share these texts. He said this genetically modified coronavirus is lethal to people with weak immune systems and so cannot defend themselves, but nobody dies before his time. The Lord decides if his time is here on earth, and many do believe this, but living that reality is today. And this next one right here, Mr. Castillo, for asymptomatic, shouldn't everybody get tested? I think they are talking about the households.
Asymptomatic. Like I mentioned, we have a. Let me just define for you guys what we consider a COVID-19 exposure.
Y creo que esa respuesta va mismo perdón por esa, pero esa respuesta va mismo a la persona que nos indicaba anteriormente, que decía que conoce de personas que piden o tienen síntomas y piden ser puestos a un examen de COVID-19. Creo que esta respuesta va a indicar exactamente los requisitos o cómo se dicta una persona que puede ser examinada por COVID-19.
Sí, nosotros definimos una persona que es un COVID-19 exposure, alguien que se expuso al coronavirus. Is defined as any individual who was within 6 feet of an infected person for at least 15 minutes, starting from 2 days before illness onset, or for asymptomatic patients, 2 days prior to positive specimen collection, until the time the patient is isolated. So that is a COVID-19 exposure. For example, high risk, living in the same household, for example, being an intimate partner, maybe your husband, your wife, or providing care in a non-healthcare setting, such as home, people who take care of elderly persons, for a person with symptomatic laboratory confirmed COVID-19 infection without using recommended precautions for home care and home isolation. That is a high risk.
Yeah. I don't think we'll go through everything right now, Raf, but in closing this morning, I know we have to have you back because there's lots of unanswered questions out there. But you mentioned about when you all go to work that you sanitize your footwear as well. What's the reason for that?
Well, we come in through the same gate where people who are going to the respiratory clinic are going through. They're having their masks and so on. But we walk through the same area, through the same gate, where people to be tested are coming in. Our temperature is taken, we sanitize our hands. It's just a precaution. These things can be practiced in the workplace, they can be practiced at home. For example, my wife is a nurse, and she works sometimes with patients who are showing symptoms or who are positive for COVID-19. So she calls me ahead of time, I'm coming home. So I make sure, for example, that my daughter is in the room, locked up, with her mask. When my wife comes in, I meet her at the door with my mask and my gloves, right? She takes off her uniform. I put it in a bag, right? And that immediately I take that into the washing machine and I wash that.
Okay.
Spray her down, right? And she goes straight into the shower.
Okay.
And her clothes is already there.
So is there an indication that from your clothes that you're using, or the one you say that you sanitize your foot bottom, is there an indication that there can be spreading as well?
Well, we there's a way of saying for sure, because we would have to sit down and analyze But we do know, for example, that the data is out there from WHO that the coronavirus can survive for a certain period of time on certain surfaces, whether it be metal surfaces, plastic surfaces, on the table, on the floor where persons are coming in contact with. So it's a virus. For example, if somebody sneezes up in the open air, the virus can stay suspended for about 2 hours, depending on the conditions inside the enclosed quarters.
So it's recommended, like you say, you're a health worker, your wife is a nurse. That's recommended for you all because you work in the health system, or it's recommended
abroad? On a wider range.
It can be applied to the home as well. It's not only for people who work in the healthcare setting.
So when you use a mat, what you set on the mat? What you put on the mat? There's some disinfectant that you put on the mat for wipe your shoes.
Well, we just spray with the 70% alcohol.
Okay.
Make sure that you spray the mat. Nursing shoes stay outside, right? They stay outside of our living areas, and they are sprayed. So these are precautions that people can take at home. Right?
This person here, how about the asymptomatic person has tested positive 5 times, way after the 14 days. These are spreading the virus?
Once you have tested negative, means that the PCR test cannot detect any viral components in the sample that was taken. Remember that you need, for any communicable disease, for any, especially respiratory illnesses like COVID-19, you need a certain viral threshold to cause infection. Right? So that's why the guideline, if you notice, the prevention guideline has time. Limit your time that you're around somebody, especially if the person has symptoms. Right? The person might have an allergy, but you can't assume that. Right? I've heard people say, well, my husband sneezed, but he suffer allergies. He have cough. A cough is not a part of allergy. He have runny nose, that is. But these are symptoms that are similar to COVID-19. So you need to go back and ask yourself, all right, where does my husband work? Who could he have been exposed? Or I know that one of his friends tested positive. Then your risk starts going up.
Yeah. Well, Raphael, we are out of time. I would like to ask you, your information, final thoughts and comments here today. And also, I know what time you bring some basin and show how to wash your hand. And share the numbers as well, but just give a little illustration when you wash your hand, how you should do it so that the public can see, and then the numbers and your final thoughts and comments.
Okay, yes. In terms of the hand washing, which is very important in preventing not only respiratory illnesses, but any disease whatsoever, can be prevented by a simple thing such as hand washing. You have your soap and you have your water available. You make sure that you wet your hands first with the water, right? Then you pump out some of the soap, or whether it is a hand soap that you're using. You make sure that you rub your palms together to create a lather, right? And you make sure that you wash in between your fingers, right? In between your fingers, a lot of soil gets trapped in between the fingers. Your fingers sweat as well during the course of the day, right? Then you have the palms of your hands inside, because we grip objects, we hold objects, right? And then you have your thumbs, because you can't forget about our digits that extend out, your thumbs, which are also important. Then we have under the fingernails. So I just, with the fingernails and the other one, I just rub side to side, right, to make sure that I get. And because we wear watches and we wear bracelets, all of these need to come off before you start washing your hand. So you wash those areas, your wrists, right? And then when you rinse, you make sure that you rinse down, not up. Some people rinse and hold their hand up, and the water runs up
Okay.
your elbow. So you rinse down, right? If you're in a public bathroom, you would grab the paper towel, dry your hands, and then with that paper towel, you turn off the water. You don't turn off any water faucet with your clean hands, right? I practice this at home. I grab the paper and I hold the faucet, even though I do at home, right?
Should we wash all the way to how high?
I wash up to the wrist wherever I wear. In the medical profession, the doctors wash up to the all the way up to almost to the elbow. But we wash up to the wrist because we wear watches, we wear bracelets. So once you have done that, right, do not turn off the faucet with your bare hands. If you're at home, then you can do so because it's not many people that are using the same faucet. Try to disinfect areas that people touch a lot, bathroom door, front door handle, toilet bowl, flush valve, all these things, shower valve, all these things that are touched a lot by people need to be disinfected. So if you have any further questions, you can call the hotline, not only to report symptoms, but if you have questions, you can call 670-9367 or 670-9375. These hotlines are available 24/7, even on the weekends. If we do not answer you, it might mean that we are on another call, but we will return your call. So please keep your phone on, because sometimes we return the call and the person has the phone off. So it's very important that if you have been exposed and so on, to keep your phone on as well, so that we can contact you.
Si nos puede entregar el número en español.
Sí, el número en 670-9367, 670-9375.
Your final thoughts and comments, Raf. Today is Friday. We're going into the weekend. A lot of people in a celebration mood. So your final thoughts and comments for today?
My final thought is just to be safe. Be conscious about your surroundings in the areas that you are in. Use your preventative measures to reduce your risk of infection of COVID-19. Most importantly, monitor yourself for any changes in symptoms. Monitor your health. Watch for fever, cough, shortness of breath, or any other symptoms of COVID-19, such as chills, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea. These are all symptoms of COVID-19. And just monitor for any changes in your body and report them immediately to the Ministry of Health. Do not wait until days later, until the symptoms have fully appeared, for you to contact us.
Thank you very much, Raf. And we need to have you back once again and more often, because your information are very, very good. They are very informative, valuable. And we want to say once again thanks. And Emerson, I sent you a text from Sokot, so at least you could just read that one, then we can close.
Al igual vamos a cerrar esta hora de la mañana. Dice: buenos días, Mr. Osher, por favor, de saludar a mi esposa Celerico Com, que Dios la bendiga y que cumpla muchos años más de vida, de parte de Mike Com. Gracias, Mr. Osher.
Your closing remarks, Mr. Na.
Al igual, el saludo para Krista, por ahí dice también good morning, gracias por sintonizarnos. Pues, más sin embargo, señoras y señores, mantengamos el distanciamiento social, lávese bien las manos. El día de hoy aprendimos y cómo se debe lavar las manos, más sin embargo, también el estigma, la discriminación, por favor, señoras y señores, tenemos que ponerle un fin a esto. Entramos a un fin de semana, cuídese mucho. Y por supuesto siga las recomendaciones del Ministerio de Salud. El día lunes, si Dios así lo permite, estaremos ingresando una vez más a cabinas para otro segmento más. Muchísimas gracias, Dios me los bendiga.
Thank you as well. We'd like to thank Mr. Balam for being here earlier, and also Mr. Raf. Thank you very much. Rahim, thanks very much. Everyone who tuned in, everybody who sent texts and calls. Good morning to you. Have yourself a wonderful Friday. We're going into the weekend. Like Raf say, make we take care of ourselves. Watch your surroundings. Not much celebration right now, all right? Make we just take care of ourselves. This show repeats at 8 o'clock tonight. We have Channel 7 News coming up at 6 today right here on North TVC on Channel 10. So, folks, if the good dirt so well, we'll be back with you on Monday right here on North TVC on Channel 10.
Con permiso.
Thank you.